Namaste. Hello and welcome to the Kundalini podcast. That was Zen. This is Tao. I'm Vivek Govekar. This is episode 61. And today I'm going to talk about consumerism, which relates to some of the things I have mentioned earlier about craving, about giving in to desires, and how our minds are not always under our control. We are programmed beings which function based on what we see in the collective conscious, what we watch on TV, or we are influenced by commercials, advertisements, and things that are meant to keep us in a state where we are constantly craving more things. And some of the harmful effects of that kind of behavior. So, we in the US just had this festival called Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is a wonderful celebration of just giving thanks for what you have and coming together with family and friends, eating a lot. All that is normal. However, there is a trend called Black Friday that happens the day after Thanksgiving, after that Thursday. And this is a day when people go out to get discounts for their Christmas shopping, and most retail stores have created, all kinds of incentive for big savings, big sales. And as far as that goes, yeah, that's nothing wrong with getting a good price on something that you want to give as a Christmas present. Then the next day, on Saturday, you see these videos on YouTube of people trampling over others, big fights breaking out in places like Walmart and other places, where it's a small piece of something trivial, like a video game or some electronic item. And there are people fighting over that and beating each other up. And the day before, on Thanksgiving, you gave thanks for all the things that you had. You're satisfied with all the blessings God has given you for your family, for good health. And the next day, you're out fighting for meaningless stuff, putting yourself at risk, getting beaten up, standing in line at 3 in the morning. So there's a mismatch. There's some kind of a problem going on. And it all relates to the things that I have mentioned before, which can be solved by mindfulness, by craving less things, by being in control of your senses. Again, nothing wrong with wanting a good bargain or buying things because you like certain things. And hey, if you have the money to go get them, sure, buy them, enjoy them. But mindful awareness, which teaches you to enjoy each moment, to celebrate each of those things that you have and be grateful for them, allows you to break free of the tyranny of these cravings, of these desires, where nothing wrong with buying a new thing and enjoying it. The problem is when you buy that thing and within a few minutes of buying it, or a few hours or days of buying it, you've stopped using it. It's not as fun anymore. And then you're looking for the next thing and the next discount, and there's always something on sale, and you keep buying it. There's a couple of things to be said about this whole phenomenon. One is, are you buying it because you want it, or that is a habit that has now formed? Just shopping, just mindlessly going on. Retail therapy, as some people call it. Like, oh, I felt good after I went and spent some money and bought some things. But later, those things just accumulate. You don't use them. And that feeling of emptiness is there within you again, right? And before I awakened, I was exactly doing these things. In fact, worse than most people. I was buying designer stuff, I was buying electronic items, and they would just pile up and accumulate. Some of the shirts I never even opened up and wore. But it is done to impress other people. It is done to show some kind of a status of, look, I can buy this and afford this because your friend bought it. And you feel some sense of depression or guilt or resentment or envy when somebody got a better deal. Either they got it cheaper and you feel bad, or they bought a better item, which is a greater brand name, a bigger status symbol. and then you feel bad about that. So it's all related to social hierarchy and your understanding of it, and you're trying to keep up with that. After my awakening, I realized what kind of a game this was. And it doesn't solve your inner problems, it just keeps you bound to that structure, to that pattern where you go and spend more and are caught up in all of these hierarchies and keeping up with neighbors and stuff like that. So, some of the principles that I follow since I awakened, and this happened naturally after the awakening because the priorities changed right away. Now I was focusing more on my abilities, skills, experiences, connections with my loved ones, rather than how much pleasure I could derive by spending more and craving the next thing and feeling empty for not having that thing. One thing I did was, yes, for my professional attire, what I wear when I go out to work, I buy the best stuff and I don't care about discounts or sales. I'll just go buy. Yes, reasonably, you want the better price, but you don't want to go and fall into that mechanism of trying to find the cheapest thing for yourself. Here's why. The one thing you realize after an awakening is yourself is very important. Now, society does a double game with you. It teaches you two different conflicting things. One is spend the most and show off so that you feel like, oh, look, I have this thing. But if you are appreciative of your own self, then you're seen as a narcissist. Like, oh, who does he think he is? Like, it's all about me, me, me. And both those things are wrong. Trying to impress others and be better than others is the worst form of narcissism. You're trying to inflate the ego or create a false illusion. But when it comes to your own body, you're supposed to neglect some things. You're supposed to work through even when you're feeling sick and, oh, don't take good care of yourself. Like, no, no, no. You're supposed to be obsessed with some things at the risk of falling ill, neglecting your own health, and not feeling good about yourself. So, buying the cheapest clothes for yourself or cheapest pair of shoes. No, I will buy the best. My feet are important to me. My health is important to me. My sense of feeling good when I'm well dressed is important to me. In that, I won't look at a sale or discount, okay, or for the cheapest price. But the brand I buy will not be something that is the popular brand. It is a piece of clothing that I like, that makes me feel good about myself. On the other hand, if you're only buying the best and the most expensive to impress other people, even that is not good because that is not really what you want or need. A good example that I give is of SLR cameras. Okay. Every few years, a new camera comes out with more megapixel and better features. But what is the basic principle of a camera? There is a shutter that opens at a varying amount of time and it lets light in and takes a picture, right? All the other features are there, they're wonderful. But unless you become a better photographer by going out and practicing with whatever camera you have, by going out and learning some fundamentals of composition and being obsessed with taking that picture and making it the best with any camera, the new camera that you buy is not going to make you a better photographer. And impressing other people with the equipment that you have, and both of you and the person you're comparing with, he has a Leica, somebody else has a Hasselblad, you have a Nikon, and all of you collectively make bad pictures with those cameras. What's the use? When you're buying it for that reason, like, okay, now I'm going to go out and practice and be a better photographer with whatever equipment I have, a reasonably good camera, you're actually valuing yourself, your experiences, and making the best out of that piece of equipment, that toy that you just bought. You bought it for the right reason, to put it to some use. It is not sitting there gathering dust. So the other thing I do is I don't buy something new unless I absolutely need it, like whatever equipment I'm using. If I start feeling that, oh, this is not giving me the best result, Ultimately, it's my craft, my skill, my ability to go out and use that tool that matters more. If I buy running shoes, can I actually run with them? And is that experience pleasurable? If I walk for about 5, 6 miles, are my feet hurting? I don't care what the label is on there or what brand they are. Are they functionally good for the purpose that they were intended for? If I have clothes, they may not be brand name, but if I'm wearing them at home, am I warm in the winter time when I'm wearing something comfortable? Am I feeling comfortable when I'm wearing them and walking without having to adjust to that pair of pants, which, yes, were very expensive, but make me uncomfortable? Or you bought something really cheap because it was on discount, but now they are shabby looking and you don't feel good about yourself, but they're cheap. So we buy things for the wrong reasons. And that is programmed into us by this mechanism that makes you crave things because they are on sale or because they are a certain brand name. The better way is to focus on the utility of those things to your own being. And if it makes your experience more pleasurable, if it fulfills a purpose, if it makes you improve at a certain skill, that is accomplished through mindfulness and through a reassessment of your cravings, of the desires. You can make a list of things. Again, gratitude comes into play. I've said this before, but if you're grateful for the things you have, and if you're buying everything for a certain purpose, then your life becomes better. More of your individuality and why you express that individuality, how you express it using these tools that you're buying, becomes the focal point of your life, of your existence. Not just buying stuff. Which is not to say that you shouldn't go out and buy some things. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm not saying don't buy stuff or buy more stuff. I'm saying buy better quality of things for your needs and not because of something that got you caught up in that consumerist trend. It is ultimately about balancing your needs versus wants and getting out of programmed behavior. And these are some of the traps that people fall into. To make your life enjoyable, you have to basically assess yourself and find out what makes you happy personally without trying to impress others, compare to others, or in any way have any motivations beyond your own needs and the needs of your family and loved ones, or reaching some expectations of society which can never be reached. Whatever you do, there's always one more thing that somebody expects from you, and one thing that you did that's not making somebody else happy. If you keep playing that game, you're caught in that. So use that mindset wisely. The only currency you have in this world to spend is time, and spend that time wisely and buy things that make your experiences, the quality of your life, better. If this is understood, then all other deeper secrets are understood about spirituality, about life. Because again, you're taking the outward focus away, keeping it at the minimum when it comes to buying stuff and spending, and putting the focus on things that are more important, more deeper within, using the outside stuff just as something to function in society. You need good things to function and things that you like to buy. But if they serve a purpose and get you closer to something within, then it'll be easier for you to break out of these patterns. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching. Namaste.